There is a kind of affirmative action at work in the world of stand-up comedy. It isn't subtle at all, but it is mostly unspoken and widespread. Because of who you are, you can tell certain jokes that no one else can do. You get a pass, and people are more willing to laugh with you because they sympathize with you and your plight. Your act is a mild or possibly searing form of revenge, payback. Jewish comedians have been working this for years. They practically made an industry out of it, and they had the stage mostly to themselves. Black comedians were slow to take advantage, but when they got the hang of it, a big crowd of them showed up. Why the hell not? Their game quickly changed from one of bitter fruit to low-hanging fruit, from stigma to point of pride. Black wasn't just beautiful. Black was funny. They found that they could get huge laughs by recounting the ways black people were treated in this society. They did not have to use the historical record to paint a tragedy. They could play it for laughs. And in doing so, they could make fun of white people, a huge double play. The racist oppressor became a comic stooge. Audiences found it almost therapeutic to laugh at the arrogant, empty, misguided lives of white people. White people went from being the master and the man to being hilariously, pathetically inept. Archie Bunker was a sweet prototype, followed nicely by Homer Simpson and Al Bundy, etc., etc. And black comics could use the word nigger. For them it was code, but if a white person said nigger, they could lose everything: job, money, respect, social standing, all of it, stripped away. If a black person said nigger, he got laughs. It wasn't fair. Exactly the point. People loved it. Consider it the very first and most prominent reparation. Maybe it wasn't exactly getting even, but it felt so damn good. Liberating. And white guys were honkies. What's a honky? There was a clown called Clarabelle, and Clarabelle did not speak, had a horn with a squeeze ball on it, and he or she, who knew, used it to communicate. There's your honky, Clarabelle the clown. Black comics could build an entire act out of the fact that they were black, and they could kill with this material. It never failed to draw waves of laughter. It was a powerful engine fueled by an inexhaustible supply of white male guilt. It was so successful that inevitably other groups would notice the blueprint and take advantage of it in their own way. We've had Asian comics and Russian comics, Indians and Latino comics, gay comics, women, fat comics, and all of them took what began as a disadvantage and they twisted it around, turned it into a dominating performance. All of the former underdogs were having their day. They made pots of money doing this, and all I can say is congratulations and more power to them. And of course I'm a bit jealous because here I sit and there ain't no affirmative action angle working for me. It's quite the opposite. I have become the butt of everyone else's jokes. I am the oppressor, the unfortunate son, favored only because of my birth and skin color. But that game, as they say, is history. That game is over and done. Now, as things have worked out, I'm clueless, awkward, stupid, isolated, white, and old. I'm a honky. Quite the resume there. Years ago, there was a book about the experience of being black in a predominantly white society, and it was called Invisible Man. It was a powerful book, a very high concept, so high you didn't even have to read it to get the message. The message was loud and clear, and it became very famous, and possibly something of a remedy, I think, because black people are no longer invisible here. It's like they looked around, considered that a possibility, and said, fuck that shit, we're going in the other direction. We're taking the high road. It was, in a way, the birth of the nigger, the new nigger, I mean. They can assert themselves, stand up and be counted as black as they can be. And this is not only tolerated, it's positively celebrated by law, custom, and monetary reward. Fortunes have been made simply by being emphatically visible. Look at me. The same holds true for the other groups who had been marginalized before. They now have pride of place in this society, and they can dare anyone to say otherwise. In the process of all this, I could argue that it was old white guys like me who have become invisible. No one cares what I think, say, or do, and I believe I'm speaking for all old white guys when I say this. At best, all we've become is a joke, the honky. If an old white guy does pop up for some reason, he's a buffoon. People see him, laugh, and move on. TV is a good index. You see an old white guy, he's an idiot. I've become irrelevant. I don't count. Economically, I'm meaningless. All that remains for me is for the government, insurance industry, healthcare providers, and the AARP to suck every last cent out of me before I die. I'm the outsider now. All of the products I see, none of them pertains to me. I don't know how to use them. I will never buy them. As far as demographics go, old white guys don't exist. They can be very safely ignored. They're invisible. Now, I wish that was completely true. It's not quite. There is an additional humiliation added to my status, lowering it further to go along with being largely ignored or laughed at. If I had to pick a single individual to blame for this, it would be Bob Dole. You might well be asking, who the hell is Bob Dole? He will be, at best, a microscopic footnote in history. A World War II veteran, senator from Kansas, a crusty old white guy who ran for president and got balled by Bill Clinton. And it was after that defeat, shortly after, when, career essentially over, he began appearing in ads on TV for ED, erectile dysfunction, telling the world what the world already knew, that he couldn't get it up. He had an attractive younger wife, the kind of woman that says, hey, look what I'm tapping. Clinton's getting blown in the Oval Office, and Bob Dole comes along admitting that he can't get it up. So he's old, white, a loser, and he can't get it up. How many strikes do you get? He vanished after that. Maybe his wife ate him. But the damage was done. That was the beginning of a booming industry. They call it male enhancement, targeted at old white guys who can't get it up, which is all old white guys. And fuck you if you think that's a stereotype. If you say that's racial profiling, forget driving while black. Imagine the hell of being an impotent old white male. The ads for this poor doofus, me, are everywhere. There are pills and lotions and creams and hormones, shit you take in combination with other shit, all of it designed to help old white guys like me get it up, to enhance me. You could slap a boner on a guy in a coma with this shit. It might even work on a corpse. And to what end? Let's say I take all these things and I get one of those super 4-hour hard-ons. I can hang laundry out on it. What am I going to do with it? No young, good-looking chick is going to want to have anything to do with me. Just the thought of it is disgusting, even to me. So that's out, unless I'm rich, in which case there might be a chick who's going to close her eyes, grit her teeth, clench her fists, and take one in return for unlimited use of a platinum MasterCard. But I'm not rich. What about the good-looking middle-aged chicks, the cougars? Nope. They're looking for hot young studs who want the benefit of an older woman, still got her looks, with lots of experience, money to burn, and is willing to do anything to hook up with a young, buff boy toy who can do it 4 times in a row without breaking a sweat. That leaves older women, and I'm not interested in that, and they certainly don't want anything to do with me either. They've had a lifetime of that bullshit, and they don't want any more. So there I am, with 3 hours to go on that hard-on. What to do? The best I can hope for is to fall asleep, take a nap, and have a nice wet dream. Because there is no one in the world who wants me. There isn't even anybody with serious mental health problems who wants to do it with old guys. That pathology doesn't exist. My sexual desirability is below 0, and I'm talking about absolute 0, where even molecules don't move. So here I am, old, white, a honky with a limp dick. There are only 2 reasons why anyone would stop and make contact with me. One is to ask for directions, and with GPS and all of that, that's fading away, and the other is to mug me. That's my fate, what I've come to, and while I'm not happy about it, who would be? I'll accept it, but I would like to say, as any of those who were marginalized before me, speaking for all the invisible men and women, that I had higher aspirations. And what an understatement that is.